Never doubt yourself. Have you ever had that little voice in your head that seems to whisper the loudest words enough to crack you down and cripple you? Defeatist, punitive, panic-ridden, morose, and humiliating. Have you ever felt as if something is weighing you down, like it wants you to stop in your tracks, making you give up and stop altogether, imposing limitations? Everyone has their capacity in doing things. Everyone has a so-called potential. It's been proven. The modern world, in between its madness and beauty, are all products of human genius, a testimony to what we could achieve in the future. Yet, in our days, in moments of here and there, we hear that little voice. We feel that heavy weight. Why do we doubt ourselves? Why do we insist on limiting ourselves? Why do we succumb to self-imposed fear? One psychological avenue to delve into the nature of negative self-talk are the conditions that we are constantly exposed to. Such conditions may have even shaped us from our upbringing in our homes, offices, and schools, with the information we expose ourselves, and with the people we talk to. These make up our environment, and the condition of our environment consequently conditions our thinking, our internal dialogue. We unconsciously internalize what has been constantly given to us, regardless of their positive regard or maladaptive quality. Take, for example, our overexposure of the internet and media. They constantly bombard us with information that isn't in any way helpful in building our own identity and esteem. Social media throws out hate and destructive criticism. It offers degrees for comparison. Social media often likes to play the game of numbers and imagery. A flashy, luxurious life amasses attention and likes. A picture-perfect relationship posted on Instagram creates a false expectation of romance. Being constantly fed all of these from our immediate environment is ingrained in our minds, creating a spin cycle of self-doubt, negative self-talk, and feeling of being small and hopeless. Even the conversations we hold with the ones we are usually around with can do so much to the psyche. Our daily interactions with coworkers and superiors, our relationship with our family and our friends, the intimacy of these relationships make up how we internalize dialogues. A boss's criticism, your mother's controlling personality. These contribute to the hardwired system in our brains that incorporate these pieces of information, experiences, and memories deep into our psyche, which then evolves into how we see the world and how we hold dialogues with ourselves. And oftentimes, these external narratives aren't particularly positive. A detrimental, negative external narrative is the parent of negative self-talk. Another major contributor to self-doubt is fear, and not just any fear, but the fear of failure. It's the monster that prevents us to try in the first place. It's what makes us cower in the face of a challenge. It's what renders us limited and stunted. Fear of failure grapples hand to hand with our will to succeed, our motivation. But most of the time, the fear of failure makes us take not just one step back, but a mile back whenever we do something. The horizon will never be clear. The absence of the certainty of success is normally translated in our minds as setting ourselves up for failure. While nothing can ever be known for certain in the reality of life, but somehow, to fail is an even bigger deal than to try. Perhaps it's not the face of failure we are truly afraid of, but the feeling and the consequences it comes with. For failure is always attributed to shame and humiliation, to be branded negatively, to feel that pain of failure, and to fail further testifies to our self-doubt. That our failure is somehow the telltale sign that we cannot become who we want to be again. Defeatist, punitive, panic-ridden, morose, and humiliating. But self-doubt is a maladaptive voice that stemmed from the one place that can diminish it. The single thing that humans are undoubtedly able to change and control. Themselves. And it all starts with the conscious choices we make. First is the negative external narrative we derive from our environments. Now this may not be easy, but changing our environment is key. You can't change the people around you, but you can change the people around you. You can't change how people act, but you can change who you opt to spend your time with. If you're always hanging around people who always like to put you down, limit you, or people who like to be negative all the time, irrationally pessimistic, people who like to limit themselves and spread crippling fear and anxiety, well, good news, because you can always leave. You can also go off social media, log out, deactivate, or delete them altogether. You can filter or regulate bad, unhelpful information. Changing them might seem like a cold move, but it is important. These will create a headspace for a better, more positive internalization. Motivation can help us deal with the fear of failure. Positive internal dialogue, or a healthy type of fear, an alternative of some sort. To stop yourself from being afraid is to remind yourself why you're doing it in the first place. You need to do good at that basketball game because of a college scholarship. You need to write that piece so that you can get to that big publication in the future. Whatever is the reason behind your action is your motivation. And the bigger the motivation, the smaller your fear gets. And while you're at it, don't just tell yourself why you need to do it, but why you can do it. Helping you to recall all of your past successes, all your potential, and all your capacity. You did not get this far to only get this far, because remember, you can. While eliminating fear is one effective way, there could be another way of dealing with it without eliminating it. But hear us out. Dancing with it. And to dance with it is to do it anyway. That to overcome fear is to not eliminate it but to go through it. That despite the 1,000 possible ways it could go wrong means it also has 1,000 possible ways to go right. Remember what they said. Everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of fear. So just do it. No wonder Nike's slogan sounds so catchy. The thing about self-doubt is that a lot of it is derived from the negative things constantly barraging us, which in turn is internalized into our psyche and translates into negative thinking patterns, usually in the form of negative self-talk and perception, fear and anxiety. In a way, it was us who designed our suffering, our limitation, and our perceptions. And the great thing about us is that we are also the ones who can control it and make something good out of it. We're the ones who have the power to help ourselves and change ourselves in the process. All we need to do is to choose that from now on, we won't be shackled by our doubts about ourselves. We won't be held down by our past experiences. We won't let ourselves be limited by fear and uncertainty. From now on, we will be kinder, more gracious to ourselves. The words we speak to ourselves, filled with hope, courage, and strength. That nothing is impossible until we say it is. The modern world has shown us what human genius is capable of building. Everything in it are products of dreams. ideas, and endeavors of people who desired a better future for everyone. They might have doubts along the way, but they have the strength to overcome it. The modern world is a testimony to what we could accomplish in the future. So, why do you doubt yourself?